everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel, that is Medical Biochemistry by Dr. Suman Jain. And today we start with a new topic, that is electron transport chain, ETC. This transport chain occurs in mitochondria. As we know that all this in glycolysis in TCA cycle all have produced NADH, some have produced FADH2. These compounds, these reducing equivalents, they pass through electron transport chain and synthesize ATP, that is known as oxidative phosphorylation. So today we will study transfer of electron with synthesis of ATP, that is electron transport chain and oxidative phosphorylation. So first, before that, we should know what is biological oxidation. So what is oxidation? Oxidation, we know that is addition of oxygen, removal of hydrogen, or increase in positive charge. That is also known as oxidation, or decrease in negative charge. These all which takes place in biological body or living beings is known as biological oxidation. So it is accompanied, this oxidation is always accompanied by reduction, because if electrons are removed, then there has to be somebody to accept that electron. So they are that at the same time oxidation and reduction takes place. Higher forms of life completely rely on oxygen for their life processes like respiration, energy breakdown, gaining energy by food breakdown. All these reactions are controlled by hydrogen and oxygen. In our case, because in glycolysis in TCA cycle, this NADH is produced. This NADH it gives its two hydrogen, that is proton, to the next element, next substrate, like here it is FMN, that is flavin mononucleotide. This is nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide hydrogen, है ना? This transfers its two protons to this FMN. Such transfer is known as electron transport chain. So let's now first we start with our definition and where it occurs and how it occurs. So definition, it is what? It is the common pathway. It always occurs in aerobic cells, by which electrons derived from various substrates are transferred to oxygen. So all the substrates, one by one, they transfer electron to one substrate to another, and at lastly to the oxygen, and this oxygen gets converted into water. This is electron transport chain. It is a series of highly organized oxidation reduction reactions. So one substrate which accepts electron gets reduced. Same way, when it transfers its electron to next substrate, it gets oxidized. And you know location, everybody, that it is mitochondria, and that too if we specify, then it is in inner mitochondrial membrane. So in mitochondria this takes place, and in mitochondria, because all these pathways, electron transport chain enzymes, they are situated in mitochondrial inner membrane, so it occurs there. That it is energy rich compounds, fatty acids and amino acids undergo series of metabolic reactions which finally get oxidized to CO2 and water. The reducing equivalents from various metabolic intermediates are transferred to different coenzymes like NAD, FAD, then to NADH, FADH, and so on. This coenzyme pass from electron transport chain and finally reduce oxygen and produce water. So this diagrammatically we can show like this, that all carbohydrate, fatty acid, amino acid, on its metabolic action, they produce either NADH, FAD, and these NAD and FAD, they gets converted into reducing form. They are reduced form NADH, FADH2. Then they pass to electron transport chain, and with the help of oxygen, so they form water. And ATP, a lot of it occurs in mitochondria. So if you see the structure of mitochondria, then it is this is inner mitochondrial membrane, which is converted into folds, which is known as cristae. And this is the matrix fluid substance, that is matrix. In matrix, DNA is there, ribosomes are there, and other granules and all are present. And this is the outer membrane. So the space between these two membrane is known as intermembrane space. So the electron transport chain, it occurs in this inner membrane. In this inner membrane, there you will see there are lollipop like structures which are known as ATP synthase, that is the complex 5. So most constituents, they are present in inner mitochondrial membrane, and so electron transport chain occurs there. So again we can see this, whatever carbohydrate, lipid, protein, whatever we eat, it is converted or gets reduced, passes its hydrogen to NAD. This NAD gets converted into NADH. It passes its hydrogen to flavoproteins. This flavoprotein then pass to cytochromes, and cytochromes, they get combined with oxygen. Cytochrome pass to electrons to oxygen to form water. Now, what are the components of electron transport chain? There are 4 complexes in electron transport chain. There are 4 complexes: complex 1, complex 2, complex 3, and complex 4. Complex 1 is NADH coenzyme Q reductase. Complex 2 is succinate coenzyme Q reductase. Complex 3 is coenzyme Q cytochrome C reductase. And the last 4th complex is cytochrome C oxidase. It combines with oxygen, that's why it is oxidase. Rest all the 3 are reductase. Now the system functions as electron system and a first complex. Now we come with the first complex, that is NADH coenzyme Q reductase. This system, it functions twice, double what they are. First function is they transfer electron. At the same time, they also act as proton pump. Also, it pumps proton to the inner membrane space. This system catalyzes transfer of 2 electrons, and then it transfers its hydrogen, and the electrons it transfers to coenzyme Q with FMN and iron sulfur proteins. This FMN then transfers electrons. We come to the second complex, ferrous sulfide complex, that is iron sulfur proteins, and then transfer. To coenzyme, no synthesis of ATP. And this system transfers electron, 2 electron, it transfers from FADH2 to coenzyme Q, Here the complex is known as succinate coenzyme Q reductase. Here the succinate, from succinate FADH2 is produced, and which comes here. And the process pumps proton across the mitochondrial membrane. It pumps proton from across the mitochondrial membrane, but here no ATP is produced. Now the complex 3, this complex 3 is known as coenzyme Q cytochrome C reductase. This system functions as both electron transfer also, and it acts as proton pump also. It catalyzes the transfer of 2 electrons from coenzyme Q to cytochrome C. Then in between, this coenzyme Q transfers to cytochrome B, then to cytochrome C, and finally to the next complex. The process, here also the process pumps 4 protons across the mitochondrial membrane, and it also permits synthesis of ATP, and this is the second site for synthesis of ATP. So first site it was complex 1. Now in complex 3 the second ATP is synthesized. In complex 2 there is no synthesis of ATP. Then complex 4, that is also known as cytochrome C oxidase. This system functions as catalytic electron transfer to molecular oxygen to form water. It also acts as proton pump. This is terminal component. This is the last component of electron transport chain where the transfer of electrons takes place, and it transfers electron from cytochrome C to molecular oxygen. In between, after cytochrome C there is cytochrome A, there is cytochrome A3, and then to the oxygen. It also pumps 2 proton, and here also ATP is synthesized, and this is the third site to synthesize. All the 4 complexes we have seen. Now we see these 2. You can see 2 substances like this coenzyme Q is there and cytochrome C is there. Now we see what is this coenzyme Q. This coenzyme Q is a quinone substance, and it is located in the lipid core of the membrane, and it there are also binding sites for coenzyme Q with protein complexes with which it interacts. These ubiquinones are reduced to form semiquinone and then finally to quinol. It accepts a pair of electrons, and also it accepts a pair of electrons from complex 1 as well as complex 2, and it transfers electron to complex 3. So it is attached with complex 1, then we come to the cytochrome from C. From 1 it transfers electron to it is present in the intermembrane space. We can see it alternatively binds to complex 3. So first it binds to complex 3 from various cycle electron. Metabolic pathways we get 4 where it glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, isocitrate 3 phosphate, malate. It also contains heme as a prosthetic pyruvate, alpha ketoglutarate, and it collects electron these from substances from and TCA cycle and transfers to protein, carbohydrate, lipid metabolism, which we gets converted to form NADH. This NADH enters the complex 1. It transfers its electron here, and it pumps its hydrogen to this inner membrane space. This is inner membrane space. This is matrix. These all pathways, these all compounds are produced in matrix because these cycles they run in matrix only, like TCA cycle, beta oxidation, these all run in matrix. So here they are synthesized. Then complex 2, it takes from succinate, it produces FADH2, which gets which passes its compound to complex 2, FADH2 gets into complex 2, it passes its electrons here and it does not pump any proton. Then this complex Q, it collects electron from complex 1 and from complex 2 and passes to complex 3. This complex 3 then passes electron to cytochrome C and also pumps proton to this inner membrane space, and here one ATP is synthesized. One ATP is synthesized in complex 1 and second is synthesized in complex 2. This cytochrome C then transfers its electrons from to complex 4, and this complex 4 also pumps proton to this intermembrane space, and in this way third ATP is synthesized here. So this is electron transport chain. This electron transport chain is attached to oxidative phosphorylation, that is complex 5, which is enzyme complex known as ATP synthase complex. Now you can watch the process how it happens. From Krebs cycle we had NADH, which NADH, see here the protons are transferred. Same way in complex 2 there is nothing. Complex 3 and these protons are then, this is complex 5 which I was saying, this is ATP synthase. So you understood how it is having these protons from this complex and from this complex 1, complex 3 and complex 4, protons are transferred to this inner membrane space, and this proton gradient allows this proton now to transfer through this ATP synthase where ATP is synthesized. Now we see inhibitors of electron transport chain. So this is complex 1 from NADH to coenzyme Q. It has few steps, FMNH2 and iron sulfur proteins are there. This is complex 1. And this from succinate to coenzyme Q is complex 2 where it is FADH2 and iron sulfur proteins. Then this is complex 3 from cytochrome B to this cytochrome C1A and cytochrome A3. Then we have this is complex 4 where it is attached to the molecular oxygen. Now we see inhibitors. So complex 1 is inhibited by amobarbital, pyridine and rotenone. This rotenone is fish poison. It is an insecticide and it transfers it inhibits to transfer of electron from NADH to coenzyme Q. Then pyridine and it is an antibiotic which also inhibits here. Amobarbital, it inhibits transfer through NADH coenzyme Q reductase. Amobarbitals and secobarbitals and these all. Then complex 2, it inhibits first the malonate inhibits because it resembles the same structure as succinate. Then the other inhibitors are other inhibitors of complex 2 are TTFA, that is trienoyl trifluoroacetone, and then the next is carboxyl, and also we have carboxyl and these two inhibitors, and malonate it inhibits succinate. So 3 inhibitors here in the complex 2. Then in complex 3 we have antimycin A, BAL BAL, that is British anti-leukocyte. Then hypoglycemic and other drugs, hypotensive drugs, they also inhibit here at complex 3. They all block at complex 3. And this BAL is also known as dimercaprol, and it is a medicine used to cure acute poisoning by arsenic, by mercury, by gold poisoning, lead poisoning, there it is used. Then complex 4, it is inhibited by, it inhibits terminal transfer of electrons to molecular oxygen. They are cyanide, hydrogen sulfide, azide, carbon monoxide, all this inhibit complex 4. In this way, these are the drugs and chemicals which inhibit electron transport chain. Now after electron transport chain, now we come to the complex 5, that is related to oxidative phosphorylation. Before that we see what is oxidative phosphorylation. So oxidative phosphorylation is a process by which energy stored in NADH and FADH2 is used to produce ATP. So when NADH and FADH2 produce ATP, that reaction is, that process is known as oxidative phosphorylation. This oxidative phosphorylation is linked to electron transport chain, where we see that NADH and FADH2 combine with half oxygen to produce water and release NAD and FAD. The second step is phosphorylation step, where this all hydrogen what transfers, they create a proton pump or proton gradient. This proton gradient then passes to the fifth complex. This fifth complex then produces ATP, that is adenosine triphosphate, which is the currency for energy in for living beings. Now we come to the fifth complex from ADP. ADP is now you see this synthesis complex. This is inner membrane space. So in inner membrane space, you see this is the axial part. This is complex 5 is composed of two parts, F0 and F1. F0 is resides in the membrane, while F1 it is in the matrix. You see here, this is matrix. This is inner membrane space and this is outside of, this is the membrane and this is outside the membrane, that is inner membrane space. So here you see that this F complex 5 has two subunits, F0 and F1. F0 unit, it is entering the mitochondria, whereas F1 it projects into the matrix. This catalyzes the this complex is very essential because it catalyzes the ATP synthesis, and it is also hence known as ATP synthase complex. This complex consists of, you can see here, 6 parts are there. You can see 6, that is 3 beta and 3 alpha alternatively present, 1 beta 1 alpha, and in the center axis, that is axial है ना, it is as one unit that is known as gamma. So this gamma unit moves, and these alpha and beta, that's for it rotates in between. So this is how ATP is synthesized. So let's see the theories. There were many theories. First theory, it was the first theory of mechanism for oxidative phosphorylation was the chemical coupling hypothesis, which was developed from the concept that high energy intermediate common to both electron transport chain and phosphorylation of ADP, such intermediates have been identified so far. Then second, it is the conformational coupling hypothesis. This, according to this hypothesis, the mitochondrial cristae undergoes some conformational change, and which reflects the change or produce changes in the electron chain, and which produces a formation of high energy state. And the third, it is chemi-osmotic theory, which was most acceptable theory. It was given by Peter Michel in 1961. So according to this theory, what it was there, that complex 1, complex 3 and complex 4, all these components act as proton pump. They pump proton to the inner membrane space, but the inner membrane space is not permeable to proton, which accumulate outside the membrane. It accumulates here and creates electrochemical potential across the membrane, and this electrochemical potential, you can see electron here, protons are passed here, and because of this due to this chemical potential, which is changed to electrochemical potential, which converts it, this all hydrogen which were accumulated here passes through the fifth complex, that is ATP synthase complex, and which creates electrochemical potential here and forms the synthesis and forms ATP. In this way, fifth complex synthesize ATP. So this theory was most accepted and was given by Michel. So he told that it involves the complex 1, 3 and complex 4, which act as proton pump, which transfers proton to the inner membrane space. These protons accumulates and consist of and produces electrochemical potential. This electropotential then passes through the F0 and F1 complex, that is complex 5, to produce synthesized chemical, that is ATP, which is in the form of energy known as currency of energy. In this way, it produces ATP. Now, inhibitors of oxidative phosphorylation. Inhibitors are first oligomycin. It binds to the enzyme ATP synthase and blocks the proton channel. It blocks the proton channel, and it does prevent the translocation of hydrogen into the mitochondrial membrane, and this leads to the accumulation of hydrogen ions or proton at higher concentration in inner membrane space, intermembrane space. Since proton cannot be pumped out against steep proton gradient, electron transport chain stops. Then atractyloside, it is a glycoside. It blocks the translocase and is therefore responsible for movement of ATP and ADP across the inner membrane, and adequate supply of ADP is blocked, thus preventing ATP phosphorylation or synthesis of ATP. Then it is bond-gregate. It is a toxin produced by Pseudomonas. It also blocks translocase, and it acts same like attractor. Then other inhibitors are inhibitors of oxidative transfer relations are high energy, and for that we see what are uncouples. Uncoupler means which do not couple, है ना. So these are compounds that uncouple the electron transport chain from oxidative phosphorylation. We have seen that in electron transport chain transfer of electron takes place. Then in fifth complex, that is ATP synthase, which relates oxidative phosphorylation. These two processes together forms ATP synthesis, and they allow mitochondria to use oxygen regardless of whether or not there is any phosphate available. So it only passes electrons, but it does not able to synthesize ATP. These compounds, they does not couple these two reactions, that is electron transport chain with oxidative phosphorylation. Then the important uncoupler is DNB, that is dinitrophenol. This dinitrophenol is a classic uncoupler of oxidative phosphorylation mechanism. So it is a potent coupler. It does not allow or permeable of lipid inner mitochondrial membrane to protons, and thus reducing electrochemical potential and short circuiting the ATP synthesis. And in this way oxidation can proceed without phosphorylation, and hence only these are all that compounds which we use. This dinitrophenol, it was an important compound when persons were using to reduce weight, obese person. So in that we come to the next. Energy was converted into heat. Uncoupler, yes, we not have to synthesize body ATP. Temperature. That is this as animals in hibernating animals process. Or animals which are adapted to cold. They have a brown adipose tissue, which is considered as an important site for non-shivering thermogenesis, where heat is produced, but not a shivering is not there. This thermogenesis, heat is produced, that is they does not produce ATP, but they convert energy into heat. It protects them from becoming obese, so they won't be obese. Excess calories are burned to liberate heat instead of being stored. Then antibiotics like valinomycin and nigersin act as ionophores. These ionophores are what? They are in exchange of proton, potassium ions are transferred, and in this way they inhibit oxidative phosphorylation. So H plus ions are not transferred, but K plus ion will be transferred. This K plus ion will not create a proton pump or will pass through fifth complex, and in this way they inhibit oxidative phosphorylation. Which other uncouplers are usually used? They are 2,4-dinitrophenol, we have seen. Then we decumarol, that is vitamin K anticonception. Then we see calcium. Then the other is CCP, that is chlorocarbonyl cyanide phenylhydrazine. Then FCCP, this is trifluorocarbonyl cyanide. Then it is valinomycin. Then physiological uncouplers like thyroxine hormone. Then essential fatty acid deficiency also produce physiological uncouplers. Then long chain fatty acids also produce. Then unconjugated hyperbase, now biological oxidation or excess transport chain. Inherited disorders are there, which are that the number one is infantile mitochondrial myopathy, which is associated with renal dysfunction. This condition is very fatal. A severe or absence of most of oxidoreductases in the transport. Thank you very much. So they don't have the enzymes for oxidoreductase, and as like and also transport chain is inhibited. The notification for the other number 2 complex is MELAS, and inherited disorder associated